Last Thursday, the IRS and the Treasury Department decided to finally weigh in on Donald Trump's legal battle to prevent Congress, the Ways and Means Committee specifically, from getting their hands on his tax returns. Now, as I'm sure everybody remembers, recently Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts issued a stay in that tax return case. Donald Trump had exhausted all of his previous appeals, so he took it directly to the Supreme Court. John Roberts said, okay, listen, I'm not going to rule on the case on the merits, but I am going to say that while we consider this, and actually even while we consider to take it up, because we don't even know if they will, you cannot turn his tax returns over to those House committees. So the committees, of course, do not have those tax returns, even though all of the lower courts said, yeah, you can have them. Supreme Court says, hold your horses, folks. We got to look at this and see what's happening. So IRS Treasury Department on Thursday filed a brief with the Supreme Court, essentially telling them that, hey, Congress needs to see these. Doesn't that seem a little odd? The agencies that have his tax returns are going to the Supreme Court being like, no, guys. Congress needs to see these. Okay? Do you read between the lines here? Congress probably needs to take a look at these. That's pretty remarkable, isn't it? Because, and they also, by the way, they also said like Donald Trump's legal arguments are garbage. Specifically, it said Trump's team cannot satisfy the demanding standard for that extraordinary relief, which basically means they don't have a legal argument to continue blocking the documents from being released. That's it. But what gets me about this, the reason this stands out to me, honestly, the reason I'm even talking about it is because these agencies didn't have to do this, right? That's the big like red flag for me if I'm Donald Trump's legal team. Because these agencies are not part of the legal fight. They're the ones being told to release or not to release. They're just sitting there waiting for orders. They didn't have to file a brief. You know, the people who filed the original lawsuit to get the documents, they file briefs. Trump's team files briefs. The two parties of the lawsuit, not these groups. So the fact that they stepped in, the fact that they're telling the United States Supreme Court, Congress probably needs these. That kind of tells me, yeah, there may be a there, right? Okay, we're talking about the organizations, the government agencies that have seen the tax returns. Like they know what's in them. And if they know what's in them and they're going to the Supreme Court saying, listen, let's get them to Congress. Could you just do that? Trust me. I think that's a big freaking deal. I think that means there's something there. Because again, the most important thing to remember here is that these agencies didn't have to say anything. They're just sitting there waiting for the court's orders to release or not to release. That's their only involvement. The fact that they stepped in and said, listen, we want Congress to have these, that tells us there is something there. Of course, 6-3 conservative majority on that Supreme Court. We don't know how they're going to go, but John Roberts did leave the door open with his order of the stay to say that we may not even take the case, right? We're just a little busy right now. We'll look at it and then we'll decide if we're even going to take it. So if he doesn't take it, it's over for Trump. If they do take it, we got to wait for the ruling. And of course, the Supreme Court deciding not to take it is probably the best way for them to not have to weigh in and piss Donald Trump off. He'll be mad either way. But at least this way they can say, like, we never issued a ruling. We just, didn't see any merit to it. So those are the possible options. But again, keep an eye on it. Because I don't think the IRS would have stepped in unless they knew that there was something Congress desperately needed to see. Hey, everyone. This is Aspen. And did you know that for the low cost of $0 per day, you can subscribe to the Fair and Balanced YouTube channel? We also encourage you to like, comment, and share. But again, click that subscribe button and help Aspen. Oh, not be so grumpy.